सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु, सहनौ भुनक्तु, सह वीर्यं करवावहै, तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। सुखं नित्यं स्वप्रकाशं व्यापकं नाम रूपयोः, अधिष्ठानं बुद्ध्यबोध्यं बुद्धेर्दृग्यत्तु निर्मलम्, अपारं सर्ववेदान्त वेद्यं प्रत्यक्परं महः, तदेवाहं न मत्तोऽन्यदिति मे निश्चिता मतिः।
We saw something regarding Praudivada. Praudivada means that statement which is generally not made, and it automatically shows the excellence of the author in terms of the analysis in that particular subject matter. And then the Vichara Sagara had said that in Vichara Sagara the dosha, the three types of defense are accepted as the bandha kala. And that, how is it so? That the Tippanikara says in the second Tippani on page 50. So first of all, he says that what is pramatru dosha? Then it is adrashtam, the punya papa, which are in the form of impressions and which are born of the shubha and ashubha karma. And those impressions are obtaining in the power of projection. And whose power of projection? Of ajnana. And where is that ajnana being staying? Staying in the antahkarana.
Staying or manifesting?
Yes, manifesting in the antahkarana. Then what is pramana dosha? So for that, first the Tippanikara said that pramana is chaitanyam. Why? Because for chaitanyam, which is Swaprakasha Swarupa, there is no other pramanam required. And the avidya which is obtaining in that chaitanya rupa pramanam is pramana dosha. And what is prameya dosha? In the Tippanikara, in the Sankshepa Saritaka, it is said that
Tippanikara also you can say. Because Sankshepa Saritaka, everything he doesn't say. Therefore.
Then the Tippanikara explains that Chaitanya is absolutely interior, whereas this Prapancha, here the Prapancha refers to the body. The body is relatively
Body, etc. Body, sense organs, mind.
So the body mind sense complex is relatively interior. And this Chaitanya is a Paramarth Vastu, and this Prapancha is a Anirvachaniya Vastu. Thus, there is similarity in the form of being interior and being the Vastu on the part of both.
Vastu here means?
Entity.
Yes.
Being an entity on the part of both Chaitanya and Prapancha. And that is the Sadrashya Rupa dosha, which is otherwise called Prameya dosha. So thus, all the three doshas can be seen in a different manner, in this manner. And we saw that this particular answer is based upon Tushyatu Durjana Nyaya. Means let the obstinate person be satisfied, because there is some obsession for the dosha to be there, and we satisfy the person.
And also it can be called Praudivada.
Yes.
This is also Praudivada.
And now,
why it is Praudivada?
Because generally our stand is that these three doshas are not necessary for Anatma Adhyasa on Atma. Whereas here we are showing that if we have to accept that these three doshas are there, then in this manner we have to see them. So now we saw, until now, the Granthakara has given answer to 4 causal factors for Anatma Adhyasa on Atma. And with regard to the first causal factor, there was refinement. That Satya Vastu Jnana Janya Samskara is not necessary, but only Sajatiya Vastu Jnana Janya Samskara is necessary. And that Vastu can be Mithya also. And regarding the second, third, and fourth is Prameya Dosha, Pramatru Dosha, and Pramana Dosha. It is said that it is not always necessary. And here in Anatma Dhyasa on Atma, it is not necessary. Now, regarding the fifth causal factor, Mr. Purvapashi had said that regarding the Adhisthana, there should be Vishesha Ajnana and Samanya Jnana. That particular causal factor, what is the status of that causal factor with regard to Anatma Dhyasa, that is now answered by the Siddhanta. And first of all, the Siddhanti is doing the presentation of this Karana Dhyasa, means the Adhyasa of Ajnanam. And with regard to that, the Tippanikara writes that there could be objection and he gives the answer to it. So what is the objection? The objection is that the ignorance of the specific part of the Adhisthana is the cause of Prapancha. And that being so, and not that being so, and the Adhyasa of that cause is called Karana Dhyasa. So that being so, the Prapancha Dhyasa has got the cause in Ajnanam. But Ajnanam Ajnana Dhyasa does not have any other cause. Since cause is not there, therefore the effect will not be there. Therefore, Ajnana Dhyasa itself would not be there. So when such question is raised, then the answer is given. Just as the lamp being shine of the nature of shining is being illuminating itself, it illumines all the other things which are in contact with itself. Why? Because it is Swapada Nirvahaka. It is the handler and here illuminator of itself and others. Similarly, this Ajnana also is the cause of its own Adhyasa and the Adhyasa of Prapancha, which is its effect. By this, what is shown is that here the Atmashraya dosha will not be there even though Ajnana is the cause of Ajnana Dhyasa, because it is Swanirvahaka. It is the handler of itself also. It can be the cause of its own Adhyasa. And hence this kind of doubt should not be there.
Good. And here in the last point we can say, when it comes to the final factor, then the final factor handles others and itself. Otherwise, you say that it is self-handler, and therefore it handles itself, then there is no hetu bhava. So, Ajnanam being the final factor in the series of cause and effect, it doesn't require further factor. And that is not something unknown. And for that example of lamp was given. Lamp illumines others. But for illumining the lamp, we don't require another lamp. So, shining by itself, and roughly speaking, shining itself, it illumines others. So, lamp doesn't need to be illumined by others because it is self-shining, and because of the nature of shining, lamp is capable of illumining others. So lamp illumines others because it is the nature of shining. Lamp doesn't require the illuminator of oneself because it is self-shining. Similarly, this Ajnanam doesn't require, Ajnanam is the cause for Adhyasa of others, and Ajnanam does not require any other cause for its superimposition on Brahma, because it is the final factor. It can be swa adhyastha, means it doesn't require any other cause to be superimposed. Anaditaha, it is superimposed. It doesn't require any other factor. If one day Ajnana Adhyasa has happened, then we require some factor. It has been there. The Swarupam of Ajnanam is such that it can be Adhyasta by itself. Just as the Swarupam of light is such that it illuminates itself. Of course, when we say it illuminates itself, it's a very approximate expression. Means it illuminates itself. It doesn't mean that there is a kartru karma virodha. It illuminates itself means it does not require any other illuminator. That we figuratively say it illuminates itself. Alright. So Ajnanam is like the lamp in terms of adhyasa. Just as the lamp doesn't require any other illuminator for its illumination, similarly, Ajnanam does not require any factor for its superimposition upon Brahma. Alright. And therefore, the Karana Adhyasa is possible. So, Karana Adhyasa Nirupanam. For title mein hi rok diya. So, in the title itself there was objection. And there it is answered. Sometimes, when a person is just entering, kyun aaya? So, why you have come? So, like that is in the beginning itself the objection is there. Not answered. Okay. Karanadhyasa Nirupanam. The presentation of the Adhyasa, superimposition of the cause in the form of ignorance. Alright. Now, under that, once topic is discussed, which is going to give the answer to the Purvapakshi. Because Karanadhyasa Nirupanam doesn't give direct answer to the Purvapakshi. Purvapakshi had said that for any Adhyasa we require Vishesha Agdanam and Samanya Gdanam. And Vishesha Agdanam with reference to Atma is not possible. Because Atma is Swaprakasha. And therefore Vishesha Agdanam requirement not being there, the Adhyasa of Anatma on Atma is not possible. That objection is being answered. And how it is answered? Swayam Prakashe Api Brahmani Atmaniva. In Brahma or with regard to Brahma, even though it is self-effulgent, self-evident, Ajnanopapattihi, there is tenability, possibility of Ajnanam. Even with regard to Swayam Prakasha, even with regard to self-evident Brahma, Atma, there is a possibility of ignorance. So Purvapakshi says, how Ajnanam can be possible for Swayam Prakasha Brahma, Swayam Prakasha Atma? Siddhanti says, we will show you how it is possible. Long discussion is there. वो इतना लॉन्ग करेंगे पूर्वपक्ष बोले हाँ मान गए बहुत लंबा है. ओके. स्वयं प्रकाशे अपि ब्रह्मणि अज्ञानोपपत्तिः. Upapatti means tenability, possibility. First of all, Siddhanti has got the habit of restating Purvapaksha. So before giving the answer, we have to tell, this is what you want to ask. Because afterwards we answer so much and then ये तो मैं पूछा ही नहीं था. I did not ask this. So our effort will go futile. Therefore, before giving the answer, Siddhanti is restating. So is restating is for Purvapakshi and the readers also. Because readers might have forgotten. So he is raising that out. Imagine we have dropped that portion. Still it may looks like, oh, where was the topic? So imagine we have taken that portion. Alright. Visheshataha anavagate vastuni adhyasaha jayeta. This is a Purvapakshi, okay? Iti akshepaha. So remember, this is a Purvapaksha. Alright. Otherwise, Swami Siddhant mein to aisa nahi hai. So it is not like this in Siddhanta. Therefore, I have to tell, this is Purvapakshi. Visheshataha anavagate vastuni adhyasaha jayeta. Proof Siddhanti also accept this. Adhyasa is born. Where? Vastuni, with regard to a thing, which is Visheshataha Anavagata, which is not known specifically, completely, clearly. So, with regard to the thing which is not clearly and completely known, Adhyasa would be born. Adhyasa will be born only on that thing which is not completely clearly known. And okay, this is first part. Second is Swayam Prakasha Swarupatpat Atmani Adhyanameva na ghateta. Swayam Prakasha Swarupatvat, being of the self-effulgent nature. Atmani, in Atma, with regard to Atma. Adhyanameva, ignorance itself. Na ghateta, would not be possible. Would not occur, take place. So, Adhyanam itself will not take place with regard to Atma because Atma is self-evident, self-effulgent. When self-effulgent it is, how can there be Adhyanam? And he explains, why is it na ghateta? Tayoho anyonyam tamah prakashayoho iva virodhat. Tayoho means Atmano swayam prakasha swarupa Atmanaha and Ajnanasya. So Tayoho swayam prakasha Atmanaha Ajnanasya cha anyonyam, mutually, virodhat. Since there is a contradiction between or opposition between the swayam prakasha swarupa Atma and ignorance, mutual contradiction. Means Swayam Prakasha Atma and Ajnanam, they are mutually contradictory. And therefore, with regard to or in Atma, this Ajnanam cannot be there. And Virodha like what? Tamah Prakashayoho iva. Like darkness and light, there is a contradiction. Just as there is a contradiction or opposition between the light and darkness, similarly, there is a contradiction between ignorance and Swayam Prakasha Atma. Therefore, ignorance cannot be there in Swayam Prakasha Atma. Or ignorance cannot be there with reference to Swayam Prakasha Atma. Because they are opposite. Then he gives the example. And when the light is there, Adhishthanam is evident, then Adhyaropa cannot happen. That he says, Prouda prakashe sati sarpadhyadhyasaha rajvado yatha na jayeta. So it has got connection with what? Visheshataha anavagate vastuni adhyasaha jayeta. Vishesha anavagate, that which is not known specifically, alone adhyasa can be there. If it is something is known specifically, it cannot be there. Therefore, and he gives the example of sarpadhyasa. Prouda prakashe sati, when there is bright light. Prouda here doesn't mean old light. So prouda generally means very mature, grown up. So here prouda has got the meaning bright. Prouda prakashe sati, when there is bright light. Sarpadi adhyasaha rajvado yathana jayeta. Just as on the rope, etc., Sarpadi adhyasaha, the superimposition of the snake, etc., na jayeta, would not be born. When? Prouda prakashe sati. When bright light is there, then you are seeing the rope, then you will not see there is snake. Na jayeta. Tatha, similarly, Sada swayam prakasha swarupe atmani bandhadhyasaha api na jayeta. Similarly, on the self which is always self-effulgent, which is always of the nature of self-effulgent, on that self, bandhadhyasaha, the superimposition of the bondage in the form of anatma, na jayeta, would not be born. Just as the rope which is well lit up, well illumined, you will not have adhyasa of sarpadi. Similarly, Atma which is self-effulgent, in that Atma, how can there be adhyasa of bandha? Because for adhyasa to happen, the adhishtanam should be unknown, should be covered. Ignorance should be there about adhishtanam, whereas regarding Atma, ajnanam is not possible. Why? Because ajnanam and Atma are of opposite nature. Why? Because ajnanam is like darkness and Atma is prakasha swarupa. Prakasha and andhakara have got opposition. Therefore, Atma and ignorance cannot coexist. And if ignorance is not there without about adhishtanam, adhyasa cannot happen. And therefore, regarding Swayam Prakasha Atma, Anatma Dhyasa is not possible. Or on Swayam Prakasha Atma, Anatma Dhyasa, otherwise called Bandha Dhyasa, is na jayeta. Iti Krutakshepaha. In this manner, objection which was done. Krutakshepaha is which samasa? Karmadhara. Kruta akshepa. Akshepa which was done. The Kruta akshepa is not there. Akshepa which was done. Api is also na sadhuhu. Is not proper. So Siddhanti says, in this manner, objection you are done. In avarta number 71. So 71 it was there. Panchama samagriya bhavaha. 71st avarta, similar idea was given. बंधाध्यासे अधिष्ठान विशेषांश ज्ञानमपि अज्ञानमपि न संभवति बंधाधिष्ठान ब्रह्मणः स्वयं प्रकाश ज्ञान स्वरूपत्वात् यत् साक्षात् अपरोक्षादिति श्रुतेः एतादृशे ब्रह्मणि आदित्य अंधकारवत् अज्ञानं न कथंचन युज्येत and therefore this adhyasa is not possible. That doubt is restated here. So regarding Panchama Samagri, two objections were raised. One is that Atma or Brahman is Swayam Prakasha, therefore Ajnanam cannot exist. Therefore, Vishesha Ajnana Rupa Samagri is not possible. Alright. So, iti na sadhu is not proper. For that, now Siddhanti is giving the answer. How it is not sadhu? That objection is not proper, not valid. For that, answer is starting. यद्यपि आत्मा अलुप्त स्वयं प्रकाश स्वरूपः तथापि तस्य स्वप्रकाशः स्वरूप प्रकाशः न अज्ञान विरोधी. So here the essence of answer I will give first. Siddhanti is saying that Chaitanyam, consciousness, is the nature of Atma. And this Chaitanyam has got two rupam. It is having two versions as it were. One is called Samanya Rupam, other is called Vishesha Rupam. So Samanya Rupa Chaitanyam or Samanya Chaitanyam and Vishesha Rupa Chaitanyam or Vishesha Chaitanyam. Samanya Chaitanyam is general consciousness. Vishesha Rupa Chaitanyam, Vishesha Chaitanyam is specific consciousness. So all this division is for understanding. Don't think that one Samanya Chaitanyam is here, Vishesha Chaitanyam hanging somewhere. It is not that, just for our understanding. So two types of Chaitanyam is there, Samanya Chaitanyam and Vishesha Chaitanyam. Samanya Chaitanyam is Swarupa Chaitanyam. Chaitanyam, which is the nature of Atma and which is all pervasive. So all pervasive Chaitanyam, which is the nature of Atma, is called Samanya Chaitanyam. And this Samanya Chaitanyam is not opposed to ignorance. It in fact illumines ignorance, it lends existence to ignorance. Doste apna. That is Samanya Chaitanyam is not opposite to this Ajnanam. Samanya Chaitanyam and Ajnanam can coexist. And their coexistence will be shown with the help of the example of Sushupti. In Sushupti, this coexistence becomes very clear. Then second one is Vishesha Chaitanyam is Antakarana Vritti Arudha Chaitanyam. The Chaitanyam which is conditioned by or manifesting through Antakarana Vritti, particular Antakarana Vritti, that is called Vishesha Chaitanyam. So Samanya Chaitanyam is Swarupa Chaitanyam, Sarva Vyapi Swarupa Chaitanyam. Vishesha Chaitanyam is Antakarana Vritti Arudha Chaitanyam. And Siddhanti wants to say, based on this particular division, that when you are saying that Ajnanam and Chaitanyam are opposite, you are doing a mix-up. You are applying your rule that Chaitanyam which is like light and Ajnanam which is like darkness, they cannot coexist. But that particular rule is applicable only to Vishesha Chaitanyam and not Samanya Chaitanyam. Consciousness in general and ignorance, they can coexist. Only the ignorance of a particular thing and the consciousness obtaining in the vritti about that object, they cannot coexist. They are antidote. Means one is antidote to others. So Siddhanti says, when you are saying that they are Virodhi, Chaitanyam and Ajnanam is Virodhi, you need to understand that Virodha, the contradiction, is between the Vishesha Chaitanyam and Ajnanam. Don't apply it to Samanya Chaitanyam and Ajnanam. The Chaitanyam which is illumining all, including ignorance, is not opposed to Ajnana. And therefore, your contention that Ajnanam and Chaitanyam cannot coexist is not correct. Because they do coexist and their coexistence can be understood very well with reference to the experience of deep sleep state. How? He will give a lot of explanation. He says, when we get up, we have got the experience. Sukham aham aswapsam na kinchid avedisham. I did not know anything. And sukham aham aswapsam. Sukham is not relevant here. I did not know anything in deep sleep state. That's what a person says when he wakes up. And this statement, I did not know anything, is revealing the smriti, the recollection of a person. It is not anubhava, it is a recollection. So he is recollecting the experience of ignorance in deep sleep state. So first of all we say, we do have experience of this, but we do have this statement of a waking up person that I did not know anything, which refers to the smriti rupa anubhava. It is the experience in the form of smriti, recollection. And recollection is possible only when collection is there, means experience is there. So Smruti Rupa Jnanam is possible when Anubhava Rupa Jnanam was there. So I have got the Smruti, recollection of ignorance in Sushupti, of course recollection in the waking, but recollection of ignorance which was experienced in Sushupti. And recollection is possible only when there was experience of ignorance in Sushupti. Therefore, in Sushupti there was experience of Ajnanam. And this Ajnanam was experienced, means illumined, not by Antakaranam. It was illumined by Chaitanyam. In Sushupti, Chaitanyam was there, then only experience is possible. So in Sushupti, Chaitanyam was there, and this Ajnana also was there. So Ajnanam and Chaitanyam happily coexisted in Sushupti. In fact, in Jagrat and Swapna also they are existing. But in Jagrat, other knowledge also is there, other ignorance also is there. Therefore, its Swarupa Ajnanam is there or Ajnanam is there is not very evident. Therefore, we are taking the example of Sushupti, clear area. In Jagrat, what happened? The Jnanam also is there of so many things. Whereas in Sushupti, the Anubhava Vishaya is Sukha and Ajnanam. And therefore, we take the help of the Sushupti Anubhava and we say, in Sushupti, there was experience of Ajnanam and there was Chaitanya. In fact, Ajnanam was illumined by Chaitanya. Otherwise, how Ajnanam can be illumined? Ajnanam will be known unless Chaitanya is there. And therefore, the Swarupa Prakasha, Antakarana Vritti Rahita Swarupa Prakasha is not opposed to Ajnanam. Ajnanam and this consciousness which is not conditioned by Antakarana Vritti, they can coexist. And therefore, don't say that Ajnanam and Chaitanyam being opposite to each other, how can there be Ajnanam about Chaitanyam? They can coexist. आपको प्रॉब्लम है, उनको प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. So you have problem. Consciousness and Ajnanam do not have problem. Let them coexist. They coexist. Alright. Only the Chaitanyam which is conditioned by or manifesting through the vritti which is regarding the object, that Chaitanyam which is manifesting through this Jnanakara vritti, that has got the opposition with Ajnana, contradiction with Ajnana. They cannot coexist. If this Chaitanyam conditioned by the or manifesting through Jnanakara vritti is there, then Ajnanam will be destroyed. They cannot coexist. One is there, other comes, one has to go. Ajnanam has to go. And that is how the answer to the first objection or the first part of the objection regarding the fifth requirement is given. Alright, now we'll see. Yadyapi, even though Atma, the self, alupta swayam prakasha swarupaha, Bauvrihi, alupta swayam prakasha swarupam yasya, Atmana, sa Atma, alupta swayam prakasha swarupaha. Atma, even though Atma is of the nature of unceasing, incessant self-effulgence, even though Atma is of the nature of unceasing light of consciousness, Prakasha here refers to consciousness. Even though Atma is of the nature of consciousness which is alupta. Alupta means unceasing, unbroken, In fact, the lupta, no? Alupta is a na lupta, alupta. And lupta is from lup dhatu, lup chedane. So alupta means uncut, unbroken. So even though Atma is of the nature of unbroken conscious as self-effulgence consciousness, tathapi, even then, tasya swarupa prakashaha na ajnana virodhi. Its light of nature, which is light refers to the consciousness, which is nature. Swarupa eva prakasha, swarupa prakasha. Swarupam eva prakasha. Prakasha chaitanyam, swarupa chaitanyam. Afterwards he will say prakasha chaitanyam or na arthantaram. He will say. So swarupa prakasha means swarupa chaitanyam. So swarupa chaitanyam of Atma means the swarupa of Atma, which is like light, or Chaitanyam, which is the Swarupa of Atma, that Swarupa Prakasha. So Swarupa Prakasha means light in the form of nature. Nature of what? Atma. Swarupa Prakasha, Swarupa Chaitanyam is na Ajnana Virodhi, is not opposed to ignorance. Swarupa Chaitanyam, Chaitanyam, which is the Swarupa of Atma, is not opposite to Ajnanam. That is the statement he made. Okay, he will explain. He will substantiate it. Swarupa Chaitanyam and Ajnanam are not opposite to each other. And why? He explains, Yadi Atmanaha Swarupa Prakasha. This Swarupa Prakasha refers to Samanya Chaitanyam. Afterwards it will come that Sarvatra Vyapya Vartamanam Akhanda Chaitanyam Samanyam. So Swarupa Chaitanyam, Samanya Chaitanyam, Yadi Atmanaha Swarupa Prakashaha, if the Swarupa Prakasha, the Swarupa Chaitanyam is Ajnana Virodhi Bhavet. If it would be opposite to Ajnanam, Tada. So Atmana Swarupa Prakasha means the Chaitanya which is the Swarupa of Atma. If it is opposite to ignorance, tada, then Shushuptau Swayam Prakashatmani na Ajnanam Upalabhyeta. Then Ajnanam will not be experienced in self-effulgent self, in Sushupti, in deep sleep state. So if Ajnanam and Swarupa Prakasha are opposite, then Ajnanam will not be experienced in self-effulgent self. And he said, but that is not so. It is experienced. Apitu, but however, Gadam Suptottitaha, a person who has woken up from the deep sleep, Gadam Suptottita means Gadam Suptita, Gadam Suptaha San Uttitaha. One who has got up having slept deeply. Oh, superficial sleep. What is the sleep they call it? Light sleep. No, light sleep and so many sleeps are there. REM and all. So, not light sleep. Gadam Suptottitaha. From the person who has woken up from deep sleep, that person Paramrushati recollects. Sukham aham aswapsam. I slept happily. Na kinchid avedisham. I did not know anything. Alarm kab baj gaya malum nahi. Alarm when it rang, I did not know. Na kinchid avedisham. Iti shushuptau, in deep sleep state. Swanubhava siddham ajnanam paramrushati. Person recollects or refers to the ignorance which was established by one's own experience in deep sleep state. So suptottitaha purushaha Sushupto Anubhava Siddham Ajnanam Paramrushati. He recollects or refers to the Ajnanam which was established by one's own experience in Sushupti. In simple words, the person after waking up, he recollects the ignorance which he had experienced in deep sleep state. This idea is given in Panchadashi, first chapter. Suptothitasya Saushupta Tamo Bodho Bhaves Sprutihi. Sachava Vishaya Avabuddham Tat Tada Tamaha. So in Panchadashi it is said, Suptotthidasya, a person who has woken up from the deep sleep state, that person will have the Bodha, the knowledge of the ignorance in deep sleep state, and that would be Smritihi. So Jnanam Dvividam, the Anubhava Rupa, Smriti Rupa. So here this Bodha will be Smriti Rupaha. And that Smriti is regarding the Tamaha, Sacha Avabuddha Vishaya. That Smriti will be objectifying which is known earlier. And what was known? Tamaha, ignorance. In short, the Sushupti refers to the ignorance or objectifies the ignorance which was experienced in deep sleep state. That is said here, Suptotthitaha Ajnanam Paramrishati. Alright. Now further he analyzes this, that what is the nature of this Jnanam? Sushuptyanubhavasya Vishayaha Sukham Ajnanam Cha. So this Granthakara's habit that whenever any topic comes, he thoroughly analyze. आसपास सब देख ले. 360 degree भी बोलते हैं ना, वो 360 degree वाले हैं. So सुषुप्त्यनुभवस्य विषय सुखम अज्ञानम च. The object of the experience in deep sleep is what? Sukham, happiness, and ajnanam, ignorance. The object of deep sleep experience is sukha and ajnanam, happiness and ignorance. Alright, then what? Suptothitasya jagrat dashayam jayamanamidam sukhajnana vishayakam dhanam na pratyaksham. So he first was to establish that this dhanam is not pratyaksha. Suptothitasya, a person who has woken up from sleep, for that person, jagrat dashayam, in the waking state, jayamanam idam dhanam, this knowledge which is born after getting up, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, whatever, jayamanam idam dhanam, sukhadhana vishayakam, regarding the happiness and ignorance. A person who has woken up and now he has got dhanam regarding the sukha and ajnanam, that dhanam is na pratyaksham, is not direct knowledge, is not a perception. Why? He said, Suno, aparoksha vishayakam dhanam pratyakshamiti uchyate. Because aparoksha vishayakam dhanam, the knowledge regarding aparoksha. Aparoksha means not remote, means which is there in front. For our information, in many shastras, the word aparoksha and pratyaksha are used interchangeably. In Panchadashi, and generally we also follow that. We give 3 categories: pratyaksha, paroksha and aparoksha. The knowledge of this clip, we pratyaksha. Knowledge of the fire based on the smoke, paroksha. Knowledge about myself, dashama asmi, aparoksha. That is how generally we make the division. But sometimes this word aparoksha is used for pratyaksha also. And it is true also. Because the pratyaksha is not paroksha, therefore it can be called aparoksha. Okay. So aparoksha vishayakam hi dhanam pratyaksham uchyate. The knowledge regarding the object which is not remote is called pratyaksha. Means knowledge of the object which is not outside the range of the instrument of knowledge, that is called pratyaksha, direct knowledge, iti uchyate. Jagrat kale shoshupta sukhasya tadagdanasya cha abhavat tadubhaya vishayakam jagrat kalena dhanam na pratyaksham kintu smritihi. So that we have already accepted, but he is making us accept. Jagrat kale, in the time of waking state, Soshupta sukhasya tadagdanasya cha abhavat. The happiness of deep sleep state and Soshupta agdanam, the ignorance which was experienced in Sushupti, abhavat, absence. When a person is woken up, that time the happiness of deep sleep is not there. We wish that it was there, but it is not there. Oh, सामने बैठा है spouse, तो happiness is not there. sukhasya abhavat. And ajnanasya, whatever total dark state of ignorance was there, that ignorance also is not there. Now he has a knowledge of coffee, tea, etc. Knowledge, thoda positive bhi bolna chahiye. So that knowledge of tea, coffee, whatever is there, and therefore ajnanasya cha abhavat. The shoshupta sukha and shoshupta ajnanam is right now not there. And therefore tadubhaya vishayaka jagrat kalinam jnanam. The knowledge regarding both of them, happiness and ignorance, which is happening jagrat kalinam, which is happening in jagrat kala. Jagrat kale jatam jagrat kalinam, or jagrat kala sambandhi jagrat kalinam. So the knowledge which is happening in the waking state is na pratyaksham, is not direct perception or direct knowledge or perception. Kintu smritihi, it is remembrance. Alright, so what? Sacha smritihi ananubhuta vishayini nasyat. And that recollection of what ajnanam and sukham will not be nasyat. What? Ananubhuta vishayini. That recollection cannot be objectifying the object which is not experienced. So recollection would not be objectifying something which was not experienced. Means you cannot recollect something which you have not experienced. That is why if you have not studied Sanskrit sutras, then you cannot recollect. Some people say, I have studied also not recollect. But if you have not studied, definitely not recollected. So, ananubhuta vishayani smriti na syat. Smriti cannot be regarding the objects which is not experienced by you. Na syat. Ataha. Therefore, sushuptau sukhagdanayoho sushuptau sukhagdanayoho aparokshagdanam abhyupagantavyam. Therefore, aparokshagdanam. See, here he is using aparoksha. Earlier pratyaksha used. Aparokshagdanam. Direct knowledge of sukha and ajnanam, happiness and ignorance, which happened in sushupti, deep sleep state, abhyupagantavyam, should be accepted. So here we have to be careful. Sushuptau abhyupagantavyam idina. In deep sleep state, we have to accept. No. In deep sleep state, we don't accept anything. So, sushuptau sukhadnanayo. Aparokshagdanam abhyupagantavyam. Jagrat kale only. Jagrat kale, it is to be accepted that there was aparokshagdanam, direct knowledge of sukha and ajnanam in sushupti. Is it clear? In Jagrat kala, we accept that in sushupti, there was experience of, direct experience of sukha and ajnanam. Alright. Now, further. So far what he has established? In sushupti, we had experience of ajnanam. That much. In sushupti, we had direct experience of ajnanam. Anuman to kar nahi sakte. Anumanam requires the mind operation. So it doesn't. Only direct experience was there. Alright. Tada. Now further. So far, ajnana experience has to be there in sushupti. That is established. Then further, tada, at that time, antakaranasya indriyanam cha sarvesham karane pralinanam abhavat. Oh, sorry. Sushuptau tad vishayakam danam na eva antakaranena indriyahi cha jayate. I was wondering that how Hetu has come. So sushuptau, some sushupti jaisa ho gaya. So in deep sleep state, tad vishayakam danam. Tad vishayakam is sukha ajnana vishayakam danam. The knowledge regarding the happiness and ajnanam antakaranena indriyaischa na jayate, naiva jayate. In sushupti, we had experience of ajnanam and sukham, and that experience cannot be born by Antakarana and Indriya. Means Antakarana cannot create the experience of happiness. Indriya cannot create the experience of happiness or the Ajnanam. Why? He says, he gives answer. Hetu. Tada, at that time. Tada means Sushupto. At that time in Sushupti, Antakaranasya Indriyanam cha sarvesham karane pralinanam abhavat. Because there was absence of Antakarana and Indriyas. Sarvesham karananam. Of all the organs and the mind, there was absence. And he gives the Hetu Garbha Visheshanam. Why? Karane pralinanam. Antakarana and all the organs which are resolved in their cause, avidya. Since they are resolved in their cause, therefore there was absence. There was absence of Antakarana and Indriyas. Here absence should be understood as Vyaktatvena Abhavat. Antakaranasya Indriyanam cha Vyaktatvena Tada Abhavat. Means they were not operational. Operationally they were absent. Indriyas, all the organs and the mind, operationally they were absent. Therefore by Antakarana or the organs, the knowledge of ignorance and happiness cannot be born. Tasma, therefore, Sushuptau, in Sushupti, in deep sleep state, Sukha Dnanayoho Avabhasakam Dhanam Swayam Prakashatmaka Swarupa Chaitanyam Eva. Therefore, the knowledge principle which is illumining the Sukha and Ajnanam, the happiness and ignorance, is Swayam Prakashatma Swarupa Chaitanyam Eva. Is only the Swarupa Chaitanyam, consciousness which is the nature of the self. What type of self? Self-effulgent. So, the principle or the reality which is revealing the Sukha and Ajnanam in deep sleep state is only the consciousness which is the nature of Atma, which is self-effulgent. Means the Swarupa Prakasha, Swarupa Chaitanyam, without the Antakarana Upadhi, alone reveals the Ajnanam and Sukha. So here Swarupa Chaitanyam should be understood as Antakarana Vritti Rahita Chaitanyam. Swarupa Chaitanyam, that alone is illuminating the Sukha and Ajnanam. Alright. Then he said, I have used the word Prakasham Dhanam Chaitanyam. So he says, Prakashaha Dhanam Chaitanyam iti Anarthantaram. Anarthantaram का अर्थ एक भी हो सकता है. Another problem. Anarthantaram. Anyaha Anartha Anarthantaram. So that is not the meaning. Anarthantaram means not having different meanings. Means synonyms. Prakashaha, Dhanam, Chaitanyam, all of them are synonyms. Alright. So much we saw in this. What was this haram? Finally what we understand? That in Sushupti Avastha, there is experience of Ajnanam, and that Ajnanam is illumined by consciousness. Means in Sushupti, Ajnanam and Chaitanyam happily coexisted. आपको क्या प्रॉब्लम है? ये सिद्धांत का कहना है. Alright. Further, Itham, in this manner, Sushuptau, in deep sleep state, Swayam Prakasha is there, no? It should be Prakasha. Swayam Prakasha Swarupe Atmani Bhasamane Eva Tasmin Swarupa Sukham Ajnanam Cha Pratiyete. So now he captures what has been told. In this manner, sums up. In this manner, Sushuptau, in deep sleep state, Swayam Prakasha Swarupe Atmani Bhasamane Eva. When the self-effulgent self was shining at that time alone. So when the self-effulgent self was shining indeed, Tasmin, in that self, Swarupa Sukham Ajnanam Cha Pratiyate. In that self, the Swarupa Sukha is experienced and Ajnanam is experienced. Means in the background of, with the support of the self-effulgent self alone, Swarupa Sukha and Ajnanam are experienced. Means Atma was there shining and Swarupa Sukham and Ajnanam also were there experienced. So both were both. Here for us main thing is Ajnanam and Swayam Prakash Atma, both were there. So when Atma was shining, then only this Ajnanam was experienced. यदि आत्मनः स्वरूप प्रकाश एव साक्षात् अज्ञान विरोधी स्यात् तर्हि अज्ञानमेव सुषुप्तौ न अनुभूयेत. If Atmanah Swarupa Prakasha, if the Chaitanyam which is the nature of Atma, Eva itself, Sakshat directly, Ajnana Virodhi, is the opposite to ignorance, means if Swarupa Chaitanyam is opposite to Ajnanam, that Syat would be there, Tarhi then Ajnanam eva Sushuptau na Anubhuyeta, then Ajnanam itself will not be experienced in Sushupti. Means Ajnanam can remain only when Chaitanyam is not there. Chaitanyam can remain only when Ajnanam is not there. Then if that type of situation is there, then Ajnanam will not be experienced by you. Why? Because any knowledge happens only because of consciousness. If consciousness is not there, no experience is possible. And therefore, if Swarupa Prakasha Chaitanyam was not there, then Ajnanam will not be experienced by him. It is something like, imagine there is a room. In that, lamp is there and a dark cloth is there. Now, dark cloth is completely covering the lamp and there is no other source of light. Only one lamp was there and you have covered, maybe electric lamp, you have fully covered with this dark cloth. Then, when you enter into the room, what will you see? Will you see the cloth or lamp? Nothing. You will not see. Only lamp is there. It is already covered. Fully covered. You will not see anything. So, if that's what Siddhanti wants to say, if the relationship between the Chaitanyam and the Ajnanam is like this dark cloth and this, this lamp, then in Sushupti we will not have experience of even ignorance. If ignorance had fully covered the Chaitanyam, means ignorance is there, then Chaitanyam will not be experienced. If that is the situation, Chaitanyam is obscured, as good as not there. If that situation is there, then the Ajnanam also will not be experienced. Is it clear? In dark room, only one lamp and one cloth, dark cloth. So if you have fully covered the lamp, nothing will be seen. Similarly, Sushupti will be what? That type of situation. Ajnanam experience also will not be there. And we keep on saying Ajnanam experience is there. Why Spruti is there? I did not know anything. Even lamp, this alarm also didn't hear. So is there. So when can you experience the black cloth and lamp? If black cloth has partly covered the lamp, then you can experience both. Lamp also you can see and the cloth also you can see. I have got some light on this when I was sitting for reading. I tried, I said, I'm saying it before telling, let me try. I put it, and if it is partly covered, then the cloth also you can see and lamp also you can see. Both you can see. So Siddhanti wants to say, in Sushupti, Ajnanam is covering Chaitanyam, but not fully covering. Ajnanam is not completely covering Chaitanyam. So Chaitanyam is shining. At the same time, Ajnanam is there covering Chaitanyam. Therefore, what happens? Chaitanyam is shining and Ajnanam also is shining. Ajnanam is shining because of what? Consciousness. दोनों का काम हो गया. Lamp also is, you know, and dark cloth also, you know, but partly covering. Alright. So that's what he said. He says, if Ajnana Virodhi, Swarup Prakash eva Ajnana Virodhi, Ajnanam eva Sushupto na Anubhuyate. Sushupto Atma Swayam Prakasha Swarupa eva aste. In Sushupti also, Atma is Swayam Prakasha only, because Alupta. So in deep sleep state, self is remaining only as self-effulgent, only as of the nature of self-effulgent. Tathapi, even then, Atmanaha Swarupa Prakashaha na Ajnana Virodhi Bhavati. Even though self-effulgent self is there, but the Swarupa Prakasha of Atma, the consciousness which is the nature of Atma, Ajnana Virodhi na Bhavati, is not becoming opposite to Ajnanam. Pratyuta, on the other hand, Atmanaha Swarupa Prakashaha. I will use the word Swarupa Prakasha. The Swarupa Prakasha of the Atma, Sarvadhishthanatvat, being the adhishtanam of all. Ajnanasya api, even for Ajnanam, Satta Spurti Pradatvena, being the giver of existence and shining. Sadhaka eva bhavati, becomes the establisher, becomes the what is called cooperative alone for Ajnanam. So Atma, Swarupa of Atma is not opposite to anything. किसी के साथ विरोधी नहीं है. No contradiction in anyone. He blesses everybody. Like Pujya Swamiji blesses everybody. I have so remember that when he used to be taken to his room, he will be going in this wheelchair and blessing. So really, the Atma is like that, blessing. किसी का ऐसा नहीं, ऐसा वाला gesture नहीं है, ऐसा वाला gesture है. Alright, so sadhaka eva bhavati. And why satta prada? Because Ajnanam is mithya. And mithya cannot exist on its own. Therefore, satta pradatvena. And Ajnanam is jada. Therefore, it doesn't have the shining of its own. So, it will be illumined only when it receives the spurti from Atma. Therefore, spurti pradatvena sadhaka eva bhavati. Kaha Atma or Swarupa Prakasha sadhaka eva bhavati. Alright, we will see in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.